Hello, church, and welcome to the Midweek Pastor's Update for Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. A couple things to get started with today. I believe most, if not all of you, have received the worship survey sent out by the Board of Worship recently that was asking your opinions on a few different things related to worship, and in part your tolerances for maybe when we might consider getting back together for some form of live worship. If you haven't yet filled that out, please do it. Bring it back to the church, send it back, whatever. But I want to say that based on what we've seen, the responses have kind of overwhelmingly favored the tack that we're currently on, and that is to continue doing virtual only worship as opposed to rushing back to getting back into too quickly the live worship settings, primarily indoors. If we could meet outdoors, consistently, then I would do that in a heartbeat. It's just hard to plan that kind of thing. I know we've had a gorgeous January, but really this is not typically the season to meet outside. So we're going to hold off for now. Just wanted to let people know that when we consider things like this, we really try to be very deliberate with it. Look, we're so close. We've made it 10 months now, and the vaccines are being rolled out. People are getting, receiving them. So we're close. And I feel let's not jump in and do something that might put some folks in harm's way. Again, we look at this as an act of love and care for our congregation, for all of you who participate in our weekly worship. And we hope that not only do you understand, but that you still find the sustenance and the feeding that you need in our weekly worship opportunities and in our studies and in the other things that we're able to do. But just know that we're in our continued evaluation of this. We're going to just stay where we are for the time being as far as worship goes. Second thing, we in conjunction with council and then along with Scott Bond from the Board of Finance, or from the Finance Committee, and myself, I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of a verbal explanation about what's happening with this year's annual meeting and the budget. So you're going to receive a letter in the near future, if you haven't already, by email or by snail mail, depending on what you typically get. But council approved our 2021 budget last week. And because of the ongoing pandemic, because of all the various concerns about gathering, the council, we all have elected to not have an annual meeting this year, and that the council's approval of the budget will suffice. But we wanted to have the congregation still have a voice, a role in seeing the budget and just voicing any concerns or questions. So you're going to be receiving the budget with a letter of explanation, but you'll receive it by email or by snail mail, like I said. Go over it. You have until the end of this month. If you could respond with any questions or concerns, and if there's anything that's actionable, then the council will look at it, will evaluate it, will make any changes that are actionable changes. But if everything looks good, to most people, or if there's nothing that's actionable, or if we can rectify any questions or concerns, if they're just tactical or little smaller stuff, then the budget will simply be in force as of February 1st. Okay? Now, what I've just told you is essentially what the letter you're about to receive is going to say, but I just felt that sometimes it's easier to talk it through. And we do it just because we want to move forward with our budget this year and get it in place. It's a very positive budget. The stewardship drive was wonderful this year in so many ways, and so it's exciting to be able to present a budget like this, especially in these difficult times. Your generosity is just humbling. So thank you for that, which has enabled us to put together a budget that we're very excited about, and that is meeting or exceeding all the requests that we had from the respective boards. But anyway, there's more highlights. I don't want to just sort of reiterate it all, basically, what you're about to get, but I did want to address that for folks and let you know that you'll be receiving that, and we are looking for the feedback of the congregation, but we will not be having an annual meeting this year. It's hard not to feel worn out by everything that's happening, isn't it? This feels overwhelming at times. Too much to feel, too much to process. And in those times, I find myself longing for something simpler, something clearing. Sometimes I'll just come back out here on my, back porch, back patio, listen to those wind chimes. And I also, I have a book that my wife gave me for Christmas. It's a really beautiful rendering of many of Rumi's poems. It's called The Soul of Rumi. And there's something about reading poetry, but particularly Rumi's poetry, that cracks open the heart and seems to get at something that feels like the essence, And so something I was reading today was like a breath of fresh air in the midst of all of the, just everything. And so I wanted to share that with you today. It's a simple little poem called One Who Can Quit Seeing Himself. I look for one simple and open enough to see the friend, not an intelligence weighing several perspectives. I want an empty shell to hold this pearl, not a stone who pretends to have a secret center when the surface is all through. I want one who can quit seeing himself, fill with God, and instead of being irritated by interruption and daily resentments, feel those as kindness. Whenever I read Rumi, I could probably sit here and just think about it for an hour, Just think about how that lands in me. And, today when I was looking at that, what spoke to me is within ourselves, within those around us. I think we all long for that means of getting out of our own way, of increasing our razor thin buffer that we have. We're all sort of walking around just on edge, we don't have much buffer to kind of like move with flexibility through our days. And so there's a lot of stuff that comes up, as Rumi was saying, that irritates us, that creates resentment in us. And as we've seen, those irritations and those resentments can play out in really toxic ways, really unhealthy ways, be they through social media, or be they played out through the real ways that we've seen. So I hope that that a poem like that is just one means, a simple means of calling us back to something a little simpler, something that's less in our head and more rooted in the place of relationship, of seeing friend and cultivating that. Especially in those places and with those people where we've experienced deep disagreement, perhaps, of late. It feels like a good time to heal now, doesn't it? To take steps as people, as a community, as a nation, and move in that direction. One way or another. I hope you make progress, that you take a step in that direction today. I'm ready. I am ready. I hope you are too. All right, friends. Well, I hope this update finds you all doing well. And until we meet again, may you all be held in the peace and the love of Christ. Amen.